Hey there. Are you tired of waiting for the next episode of It's Probably Not Aliens? Well, we've got some good news for you. On Nebula, our streaming service, you can get access to all our episodes a week early. That's right, you'll never have to wait again to hear Scott and I debunk the latest ancient astronaut theory or get a movie fact wrong. But that's not all. Nebula is home to dozens of content creators we know you like, so you can find all your favorites in one place. Plus, we post content on there that you won't find anywhere else. And the best part? By signing up for Nebula at nebula.tv/probablyNotAliens, you're directly supporting the show and both of us. So don't wait any longer. Join Nebula today and listen to the next episode right after this one.
Tristan, it's me.
What?
It's
Santa?
me, Professor Charles Xavier.
Oh.
From the
Montauk episode?
From the You remember me, Tristan.
Whoa.
This is important. This is so important, Tristan. I need you to remember this.
Okay.
Remember, right now, as you listen to me and my incredibly accurate Professor X voice, something is screaming through our solar system at 209,000 kilometers per hour. And this is accurate that I, Professor X, would say kilometers and not miles because I am British.
Don't they also say, they say miles in Britain, don't they?
Oh, do they? Not important, Tristan.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't correct
I didn't
me.
want to get distracted.
The greatest mind in human and mutant history.
Oh boy.
This thing is older than Earth, older than our sun. And Harvard says it might be hostile alien technology.
Whoa.
Yes. Take a look at your Notion page. Take a look at your Notion page, Tristan.
Oh,
I've attached an image for
you made an entire podcast episode.
Yes, this is very important. Make sure that Scott, that handsome man, who's bald like me and is really rocking it, I would say. Make sure that he knows. Make sure that everyone knows.
Bye, Ghost of Christmas Future.
I'm still here.
Sorry.
It sounded like I was leaving. I know. It's just. I'll be around.
Do you just listen to people while they're just idly thinking all the time?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're a fucking pervert, aren't you?
You know it, baby.
Oh, that. Okay. Well, never meet your heroes.
Who are you talking to?
James McAvoy?
Ah.
Or Patrick Stewart. I can't remember which one.
One of the two. God.
Would you like to do a podcast episode?
Yeah, I've been sitting here for like the past hour and a half just waiting. You've just been like spiraling, talking to yourself. It's been weird.
Sorry. It's been a long week. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, Tristan. Hi.
Did you know that right now that there's a something screaming through the solar system at 209,000 kilometers per hour that's older than the Earth and our sun, and that Harvard says that it might be hostile alien technology? Here, I made a Notion page. You can take a picture of it.
You made this Notion page? This is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Just ignore all of those references to alien women and...
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in here about, like, the X gene and mutant kind, humankind relations, and I'm not entirely sure that's relevant to what we do on this podcast.
Listen, copying and pasting with telepathy is actually quite complicated. But yeah, Scott, look, remember how we talked about Mars last time?
We sure did, Tristan.
And remember how we talked about Perseverance, the rover?
Yes, the rover and the concept, yes.
Well, Perseverance did another cool thing recently.
and I want to talk to you about how this time it's not discovering life, but it is discovering one of the coolest things to have ever randomly encountered our solar system. Look at this picture.
I'm looking at this picture in this notion, and it looks, I'll be very honest, it looks like static for the most part. 98% of this image is just like TV fuzz noise, like colorful noise. And then there's like just little white smudge near the center, sort of off center, this little streak.
Well, I'll tell you that picture may or may not be from Mars, and may or may not be a picture of, if we are to believe Harvard Professor Avi Loeb, an alien spacecraft that is on that plans to destroy the Earth.
Uh-huh.
And
So
right
that's
now,
terrifying.
and scientists are pissed off about it this time, instead of just tolerating his crap this time. So that's like,
Okay. Sounds like we have a lot to talk about. A lot of good, interesting stuff. A potential threatening, an alien attack, a Mars attacks is on us.
Another movie
is
I
upon
watched
us.
recently. Another
Yeah.
absolute fucking banger from the 90s.
What a good film that I'm still terrified to rewatch.
Why?
It scarred me as a kid. I think we talked about it last week. There are aliens that shoot people into skeletons. That's not good for a child mind.
But one of them is Danny DeVito while trying to give him a Rolex.
Yeah.
One of them
I'll
is
have to watch
Baby
it again.
Jack Black.
I'll watch it again.
It's good. It's so good.
But not before we do this podcast.
Yes.
This is a podcast called It's Probably Not Aliens, where we look into ancient astronaut theory, ancient aliens, the TV show, and also frequently a lot of just like news popping up about potential alien encounters in our real world, which is very exciting. My name is Scott Nicewander. I know nothing, except I suddenly have a nice confidence boost. Like I feel like someone out there is thinking about how good I look rocking the bald lifestyle. So that's pretty good. Pretty nice. I feel that out in there in the universe.
My name's Tristan Johnson, and I am increasingly watching as our civilization just takes a full rocket launch from escape vector away from reality, which means that more and more often we get weird alien claims and we have to break them down. And today we're going to talk about one that I have seen all the fucking way up and down TikTok, and also just like in like the UFO world is going fucking bananas over this story. So today we're going to talk about it.
Because I genuinely haven't heard about this, but I'm excited to learn.
So today we're going to talk about A1 Atlas. Sorry, 3-1 Atlas. 3I Atlas. 3I Atlas.
Yes. I was going to say A1 sounds like another one of our Al space potatoes.
A1 steak sauce. So
3-1 Atlas.
3I Atlas. It's I, not L, or not 1.
Oh my God, this is so confusing.
It's because it's got a good name. And the reason why it's 3I is because, well, it is the third interstellar asteroid / comet that we have observed. So it is a comet that is going through our solar system right now that has a lot of signs of we know pretty well that it came from outside the solar system. And there's only ever been 3 of these discovered. The big one you might remember from back in 2017 was Oumuamua.
Yeah.
So now we got another one. There's a second one that for some reason nobody writes much about. But according to Harvard professor, who he wants to remind you they teach us at Harvard, Avi Loeb.
Okay. And where does he teach again?
Harvard.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure. So Harvard professor Avi Loeb, who teaches at Harvard, has written a paper, published it, kind of, where he writes about some interesting, odd, like anomalies about 3I Atlas that make it seem a little peculiar. So first, it's coming from a unusual trajectory. Its angle of approach is very strange. Some size estimates, or Avi Loeb's size estimate, shows that this comet asteroid is about the size of Manhattan, the island, not the Doctor.
Big. Doctor was pretty big at some points too.
That's true.
Island a little bit bigger.
There's also some interesting stuff to do with timing and approach characteristics. So he writes in his little thing that this could be.
Hold on. Not to give away how we feel about Avi Loeb, but you referring to his paper as his little thing.
Yeah.
He writes in his little thing. Avi Loeb just wrote in his little thing about his.
He wrote
his
it. The thing is, it is kind of like a little thing, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But he writes in his paper that was put in something called ARXIV, ARXIV. Which is framed as what he called a pedagogical exercise. So this is just a thought exercise that maybe this thing is aliens.
Okay. Maybe this is aliens. It could be the Phoenix Force, Tristan.
Or Asteroid M. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, sure. There's so many things that we have out there in the universe that we mutants are always aware of, and it could be a threat, or it could be a good thing. We don't know. But this Harvard professor says it's a threat. It could be the Phoenix Force.
I never really liked when X-Men did space stuff.
Oh,
I know. You got to get laid somehow, but
Yeah, I got a girlfriend out there, man. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having space adventures and being cool.
Yeah, I just liked you as a grounded civil rights metaphor, but whatever. Sorry, Scott. I just got a little bit of a headache.
There you go talking again. I don't understand.
Do you by any
chance
get into the? Do you by any chance have like a big metal helmet that I could wear for a little bit?
Well, Tristan, any helmet I put on me is big because of my tiny little head. But I don't know if it would fit you because you have a normal size head. So I apologize.
That sucks.
Shall we get into the claims?
Yeah, let's break down what Avi Loeb's trying to say.
Millions of Avi Loeb around the world believe.
Oh man, this story is already getting weird because there's another guy named Avi who's becoming a national political figure right now. Avi L, honestly. So in Canada, our left-wing political party is having its leadership race to replace Jagmeet Singh, and one of the frontrunners who I am very excited about is Avi Lewis, and who you may know, otherwise known as Naomi Klein's husband.
Oh,
so you can probably tell he's pretty legit. Anyways, Avi Loeb, a very different Avi, has written about the eccentricities of 3I Atlas, this comet/asteroid that is going through our solar system at breakneck speed. So here's the things that he pointed out. One, that it's coming from a very odd trajectory. Its orbital plane, so like the sort of angle that it's coming into the solar system, is only about 5 degrees tilted from our solar system's ecliptic, which means if you were to think of the solar system, right, like all the planets in the solar system, all kind of are on the same flat plane, right? Like there's not like Mars is like here, Earth is like here, and like that kind of thing. Like it's very much like a disk, because we are basically an accretion disk of debris that was orbiting the sun.
Yeah.
So
I thought Pluto was a little off, but I could be wrong.
I mean, they're all like,
one of those. Yeah.
The sort of like 1 degree is like 80 quadrillion bajillion kilometers or whatever. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this
thing is 5 degrees tilted, which means it's not that pissed off from losing at a Fortnite round.
Oh my goodness, I haven't heard tilted in that capacity in a very long time.
I know, right? I was the whole time I was like formulating, I was just like, this is gonna make me sound so fucking old if I say
that's
this.
like a poker term, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually, it's coming in only 5 degrees off of the solar system ecliptic, which means that which is rather statistically improbable, that it just happens to be coming in really close, like it's coming in on the same sort of path that all the planets are on, which is pretty impressive.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's like, there are 360 degrees and 5 degrees is this thing. So, it's not like it was impossible, but it's still how Avi works in a way where he's like, here's a bunch of anomalies kind of that are all happening about this one thing. And that's too many sort of coincidences to rule out. But yeah, so this path is going to bring it unusually close to several orbits, including Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. Hence why we were able to take a picture of it from Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also that Loeb suggests that it is, or estimates that it's about somewhere between 5 and 20 kilometers in diameter, which is larger than any prior interstellar object.
I mean, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. Its mass and size are way bigger than any of the previous ones, like Oumuamua, or the second one that doesn't seem to get a lot of attention, 2I
Yeah, what's
Borisov.
up with this, like, middle child? What is 2I Borisov?
If I were to hazard a guess, is that we probably discovered it just about the time that it was too far away for us to study.
Fair enough.
Let's see. So yeah, all right. It was designated C 2019 Q4 Borisov. It is not bound to the sun. The comet passed through the ecliptic of the solar system at the end of 2019, made its closest approach to the sun in December of 2019. Okay. Yeah, for some reason this one just did not have the same, bit that it had. I don't know why. Couldn't even tell you.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, but this would, if Avi Loeb's estimation of its size is correct, then it would be larger than either of these objects by orders of magnitude. This is a humongous fucking rock. Like,
yeah,
even as far as asteroids go, that is a huge gun. That is like, we're talking about like dinosaur killing sized asteroid there. Not that this thing is even close to coming to the Earth. Although, also, I found out recently that there is an asteroid that, depending upon how things go in 2026, there may, I think it's like something like a 3% chance that it'll hit the Earth in 2032. So keep your eyes open for that.
That's pretty close, Tristan. That's not too far away.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like that will that'll be just poetic for the Earth. I think that'll fit.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry. Loeb says that this kind of path is rare and increases some speculation that maybe this was intentional because an alien would focus on going by all of the planets, notably not the one with life on it, oddly enough, but it does sort of come in on an angle where it's going to bypass a lot of planets very quickly, or already has, because it's already like past Mars and like it's moving on its mission, or moving along. Also, the timing and approach characteristics are strange. So, or at least he thinks that there's some interesting coincidences. Like one example is that it is within 9 degrees of the 1977 WOW signal. So
we've talked about this before.
We've talked about the WOW signal. I think it would be a fun video or a fun episode to do at some point. But for a long time, the WOW signal was considered like one of the most like unexplained, potentially alien communications. But I think, I'm not 100%, but I think by this point we have determined that it was probably radio from some domestic source that we figured out like a lot later. So that is a little odd, but then Loeb, that's also a speculation. I don't think it's confirmed that was what it was. But Loeb notes that is like another improbability that like from this like, very strange anomalous signal that we got the same direction, kind of 9 degrees over like light years is actually a fuck of a load of distance, but the WOW signal that we got in 1977 and the approach timing and sequence with close planetary encounters is said to be like extraordinarily unlikely, like less than a 0.005% chance of happening. And its speed and entry vectors deviate from what's expected of typical comets. So it isn't behaving quite like a comet that you would expect.
Okay. Little off, who knows, being controlled, maybe, by some aliens?
Well, Avi Loeb would make the argument that it's not a comet or asteroid, but it is a ship or like a probe or something like that. Yeah. So that's the sort of direction he's going. So he says that like, given that this is a whole bunch of anomalies, that a technological origin might be one that you would consider along the natural explanations. He calls it a level 2 on his own described Loeb scale.
I love a Loeb scale.
Yeah. So I looked into what's the Loeb scale. So 0 through 3 on the Loeb scale is natural phenomenon with increasing anomalies. 4 is the critical threshold where technological explanation must be considered alongside a natural hypothesis. Between 5 and 7, suspected passive to active technology. And 8 to 10, confirmed extraterrestrial technology. So Avi Loeb made his own scale, and he gave it a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Fascinating. So
Yeah, that doesn't...
It's not very high.
It's not very high, even on his own scale.
No. On top of that, he also has, he wrote out a 15-point plan for how NASA should intercept 3I Atlas and other sort of similar types of objects. So he thinks that they should try to figure out whether or not it's a threat. He has this whole thing where it's like, the response should match scientific specific characteristics of the object's threat or opportunity. Do not project human or Earth-centric assumptions onto alien technology. Consider that its capabilities may be vastly different. Collect maximum data using global telescope networks and all assets, including those used for intelligence and national security. Analyze real-time data for signs of unnatural movement, outgassing, or unexplained behavior. Coordinate monitoring with all the international agencies, NASA, ESA, JAXA, CNSA, ISRO, that kind of thing. Develop rapid mission concepts. So try to find a way to use launch vehicles or any sort of emerging technology to check it out. Prepare interception missions based on current trajectory, velocity, and estimated time window before the solar system exits. Because 3I Atlas is going to leave the solar system at some point. Consider both robotic and human missions based on the urgency and risk levels. So, really Armageddon this shit. Factor in possible approaches to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter as possible interception or rendezvous aids. Use nuclear thermal propulsion or advanced tech if feasible, given speed challenges. So one of those things is just like, use science fiction technology.
Yeah. Excellent. And we have it, right?
Just do that.
Yeah.
Nuclear thermal propulsion is one that was proposed that is that isn't been done, but like there's a bunch of like possible technologies for new propulsion, but nothing that we would go for this, because a lot of like the propulsion technology that we're working on that's experimental is designed to be really like efficient rather than fast, because like you can't slow down in space, right? Or you can't like there's nothing to like slow you down. There's no drag or anything like that.
Right, there's no air resistance.
Yeah. So like a lot of our like potential ways to develop like more fast and efficient travel is stuff that like is just constantly putting out a little bit of force, because every little bit of force that you're putting out is acceleration. So even if you're using something small, like just having a big thing that like a laser can shoot at, that the pressure from that laser will just slowly speed you up, and then you keep doing that for years and years and years, and eventually you're at like a percentage of the speed of light. But that's the kind of things that they're trying to go for, because the biggest issue in space travel is fuel and burns and stuff. So that's one part that's a little strange. Maintain secrecy of sensitive military or security assets while maximizing open science. I love how he's just like, you should do these things. Prepare contingency protocols for encountering technological artifacts with defensive measures if needed, of course. Get the Space Marines ready.
Incredible.
Establish public science communication channels to avoid fear, misinformation, or panic. Ironic. Remain adaptable. Evolve search and interception strategies as new data emerges. And document all findings thoroughly to inform future interstellar investigation plans. So this is what we should be doing if we see an interstellar object and we start to suspect that it's technology.
Yes, Tristan. This is what we should be doing. Yeah. Remain adaptable like a mutant. Remain the next stage in human evolution. I, too, am advanced on the lobe scale because of my big brain lobes, you see. I am Professor X.
Did the X-Men ever have a rocket ship?
We had...
Can the Blackbird go to space?
The Blackbird could go to space.
Oh, all right.
Pretty sure. I don't know.
Didn't you design it?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm focused on this. This has all my attention right now. An evil, mysterious force challenges the planet Earth. Okay, bye.
Okay. Do you ever just get weird people talking in your head sometimes?
Oh man, constantly.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Do like perverted British guys ever talk in your brain?
Not perverted British guys. No. I mostly just get other funny reference.
I do love other funny reference.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so the other thing that we have to mention about this about Avi Loeb's paper is that
Mhm.
it was published in something called ARXIV or ARXIV,
Okay.
and frames it as a pedagogical exercise. So I want to give a note about ARXIV because it's one of those things that is now by like, kind of amateur skeptic debunker people will be like a thing that's like, oh, it's on ARXIV. So it's like, let's not give that any credence. But also, it's just one of those things that you have to be careful about because it is not a peer-reviewed journal, but it is something very useful, and I don't want to dismiss its usefulness. So, ARXIV, an ARXIV paper is a scientific manuscript that's posted on a server where you'd put something called preprints, so articles before they go through peer review.
Okay.
You either submit it to the server before or alongside its submission. And it's what it does is that because it's not in a journal yet, so it's not like sort of behind a paywall, there's this free open access repository for preprints in many different fields, including physics, mathematics, computer science. And so researchers are able to very quickly share and discover work and establish different priorities and get early feedback on what they're working on. It does have some scholarly value that's measured through like people who moderate the site, but it doesn't do specifically doesn't do peer review, which is the process of how we decide what goes in academic journals. And that is a big distinction. A published journal article has a lot of different is a lot more serious than something in ARXIV. But I can't get away without saying that ARXIV was critical because you might remember the big thing that it did, which is that, let's say, for example, one field of science needs to do a whole lot of research on a topic or a subject really, really fast. Like, say, for example, SARS decides to do a mutation in Wuhan that makes it so that it's extremely spreadable. And then
political.
Yeah.
It decides to mutate to become extremely political.
Yeah, and within a few months of its discovery finds its way to everywhere, every place where people are. And so every, scientist that works on virology has to, say, try to develop a vaccine or remedies or, just understand what this thing is. ARXIV is a place where scientists can do like an experiment, very quickly upload the results, even before peer review, so that other people can see what other people are working on and get those inspirations and move through. And that is like the big dream of science, because science has a major problem where collaboration and the sort of timeline of publishing articles is very long. And in times where, say, you're like trying to combat a disease, there might not be time to do that. Plus, it also is a open archive, which means that journal articles can be very expensive. And so this is a way to get access to articles and preprints that you might not otherwise be able to get through being on a journal. Furthermore, it is it's a way to cross-pollinate ideas. I don't know if ARXIV was like used on this specifically, but for one example of the kinds of things that it could facilitate is that the recent Nobel Prize for Health Medicine was just given to like 3 scientists, I want to say, but one of the scientists lived in Japan and the other 2 were in America, and they were working on the same problem but from completely different angles, and found out about each other through like collaborate, like just like reading other journals and like having that. So that kind of open access is important for science.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is not to throw out ARXIV as like a platform or as a service. It's just that something being published in ARXIV doesn't necessarily mean that it's like this is serious. Like, this is like, like it still needs to go through the peer review process before you can like really, really drill down and take it. So this is like kind of like a way to do things fast, but with the idea that, this could be wrong. Like, for example, that's how we ended up with things like a really early study showing that ivermectin seemed to have an effect against COVID. And then like, further studies showed that it didn't, but not before the public found out about it. Yeah. So it studies that the astrodynamics are very strange and treats the idea that this could be alien technology, possibly hostile, as an interesting and testable thought experiment, kind of inspired by what's called the dark forest hypothesis related to the Fermi paradox. So we talked about the Fermi paradox a few times.
Did you say dark phoenix? Did you say dark
forest? Dark forest.
Oh, sorry.
So the dark forest hypothesis is
yeah, I heard you. Yeah. You don't have to yell at me. Goodness gracious.
It's one of the most scary of the answers to the Fermi paradox. So for anybody, because I don't expect you to listen to every episode that we ever do, the Fermi paradox is this whole thing where it's like, given the time and resources, the universe should be teeming with intelligent extraterrestrial life, but we don't see any.
Should be out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the universe is huge. It's statistically wild that we would be the only, life out there.
Yeah. That's less the Fermi paradox and more like, given how long the universe has been around, every single star and planet in the universe should have been like colonized like 50 times over by now. Like,
sure.
Like there's some evidence that shows that with like reasonably like technology we could reasonably get in the next like few hundred years, we could colonize the entire galaxy in like a period of like a few million years, which in the scale of the age of the universe is nothing. So if alien life exists, alien intelligence specifically exists, it should be everywhere. We should be seeing them. We should be hearing communications. We should have like all sorts of like, evidence, but we don't see anything. And that's like the sort of major, like being like, why is that? And that's the paradox. Now, the dark forest hypothesis posits this idea that a more advanced alien civilization or a more advanced civilization or species will destroy any less advanced civilizations that they come in contact with. Just like in the same way that we would do the same thing to chimpanzees, like how we've diminished the numbers of chimpanzees to build farmland. Like it's just like they need resources and they don't see us as all that developed and they don't kind of put us in that. Yeah. And so the dark forest hypothesis is that the universe is quiet because the aliens that survive are the ones who know to be quiet, like the ones who don't go out there, who don't explore, who don't broadcast, which is dangerous or is scary because Earth has been broadcasting the shit out of our location and like that kind of thing.
I know there are aliens out there who are like, dude, shut up, I'm right beside you, dude, shut up, they're gonna find me too.
Basically, yeah, like that. You're not even wrong there.
Yeah.
So the authors emphasize that it's still likely that 3I Atlas is a natural object, probably a comet, but it just wanted to explore the different options. It's just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
And so it's like a bit to like prompt discourse, and it's like it's exercise or make public record. So this sounds like kind of innocuous, like Avi Lewis is just asking questions, thought exercise.
Not Avi Lewis.
Sorry, Avi Loeb. Avi Lewis is not doing that. Avi Lewis is running for leader of the NDP. Sorry. So the thing though is that when I first found out about Avi Loeb is because he did the exact same thing when Oumuamua was going through the solar system in 2017.
A repeat offender.
Yeah. So when Oumuamua was going through our solar system in 2017, Loeb argued that it had a strange pancake-like shape, which is an unusual reflectivity, which he thought did not match natural objects known. He said that it showed non-gravitational acceleration as it left the solar system, and without signs of outgassing or anything that you'd expect from comets.
Sure.
Suggesting that what this was something called a light sail, which kind of, as I mentioned with like the this thing I told you about with alternative force propulsion, one of them is a light sail where you make this large reflective surface like multiple kilometers, very, very thin. And like the
Jeez,
light from
yeah.
the sun bouncing off of it would create just like little bits of momentum that you could then, because nothing can stop you, you can just like accelerate as long as you want as you have the things
Keep
open.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a cool treasure planet vibe.
Exactly.
Like a big alien pirate ship.
Yeah. I mean, Deep Space Nine made an episode about it. That's literally like them sailing across Bajor or whatever.
Cool.
Or the Bajoran solar system. There's a myth that the Bajorans got to Cardassia before the Cardassians went to Bajor in a solar sail, like a wooden solar sail ship. And there's a whole episode where Sisko's trying to prove that that's true by building one of his own.
Cool.
It's one of his good father-son episodes. Anyways, so he thought it might be one of these structures. Unlike comets, he said Oumuamua didn't show a visible tail or typical water or ice features, which suggested that it was not a standard comet, and published that Oumuamua might be a derelict probe or a technological artifact from an extraterrestrial civilization, not just a rock, and that the astronomical community, should not dismiss this hypothesis and advocated for a more serious search for alien artifacts and investment in space archaeology, as he called it.
Can I ask, and maybe you covered this already, can I ask what's the difference between Oumuamua and Three-Eye Atlas that Oumuamua, Avi Loeb was like, this is like a probe or some sort of, technological artifact, whereas Three-Eye Atlas, he's like, this is sent to kill us. This is sent to harm us. Like, what is the difference in his mind between like what makes one just like a probe versus an actively harmful alien piece of technology that could harm us all?
Probably size, and also that it's like outgassing some kind of, it's like oddly metallic.
Okay.
It's got, there's some weird chemistry going on with Three-Eye Atlas that I'll get into in a little bit. But
okay.
The reason why he speculated all that stuff about Oumuamua is because Oumuamua was probably like kind of like long and flat. And so he thought that its strange shape meant that it was like, it could potentially be a solar sail, when it was most likely just like kind of like baguette shaped.
Yeah, delicious.
Delicious. Yeah. There's just a jambon bear in space.
Yummy.
So I want to get into why Avi Loeb, gosh, he's gonna write this.
Have trouble with this.
Avi Lewis is gonna write the sequel to Doppelganger, and it's gonna be about me mistaking him for Avi Loeb. But first, I do have a question. Are you, Scott? Are you in need of a service right now?
Ooh, services. I'm okay on. Products. I could use maybe some products.
We could all use more products. So why don't we go and learn a little bit about some product and service and come back real fast?
Sure. I would love that.
Scott?
Yeah.
There has been a, let's just say that not everybody in the astronomical community loves Avi Loeb's take here.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me. I was hooked in. He grasped me a little bit with this. We're all going to die from some sort of big alien weapon that's coming to kill us.
I mean, given this year, who knows?
I welcome it.
Yeah. But yeah, what was it called? What was that? There was a joke from a number of years ago that was like asteroid 2020 or something like that. Like advocate, like,
yeah.
Make
us extinct. Great filters, come for us.
Yeah, we don't want what we got going on here. Probably shouldn't be going into space. That's a pretty good way to think about it.
Start over. Try again.
Give the octopuses a chance.
I used to play Bop It as a kid, and one of my favorite lines it would say when you screwed up was, "Do it again, but better." And that is what the motto
nature
of
should
Earth
do right now.
should be.
Yeah.
Nature should be like, do it again, but better.
Yeah, maybe in like 100 million years, the Squibbins will be able to be better stewards of the Earth than we were. So Jason,
Oh, the mutants. The mutants will rise, Tristan.
I thought you
The
were
next step
the
of
integrationist.
evolution.
Are you now Magnetoing?
No, I just mean like if humans are gonna die anyway, then the mutants can, we'll step in.
This is some
and go.
real
Like we're
brotherhood shit,
sad.
man.
Like we're sad for you. Oh no, the humans died. Oh no, but us mutants. Well, oh, what can we do but take over? There's no other humans left. The mutants. That's not revolutionary. That's just me, trying to be like, yeah, let's, capitalize on this opportunity, I suppose.
This is really awkward.
Yeah. I kind of,
Did you just like come to Magneto's side at some point?
maybe Magneto was right, actually.
Given this last year, I kind of get it.
Maybe I am Magneto this whole time.
What? He can't do this.
Maybe I've been Magneto, and his voice sounds like this, which so you can differentiate it between the two.
All I can think of is like Magneto does not need gas for cars. So oh,
anyway,
okay. So
this bit is not. This bit requires me to do so much improv that I'm not prepared to do.
Yeah, we got to take an improv class together
Yeah, we sure do, huh?
So I want to talk about Jason Wright, who wrote basically like a response to Avi Loeb and did like a pretty thorough takedown of all of the things that he was saying.
Cool.
So the first one is that Loeb claiming that this thing is the size of Manhattan is a tiny bit off. He based this on the brightness measurements, but the brightness measurements didn't assume things like a coma. So basically he just talked about it as if its like diameter was a solid body reflecting light at 5% albedo. So to kind of get into that, so a coma is
I was like, what do you mean by a coma?
Okay.
That's
an important one.
This planetary thing is not responding.
For 20 years, came out of a 20-year coma. No, so here's what makes a comet and an asteroid different from each other, right? An asteroid is like a rock or rocks kind of in a clump moving through together, right?
Sure.
A comet has all of that, but it also has like ice and like other sort of like frozen stuff like that. And when a comet comes close enough to the sun, that the heat from the sun starts to evaporate that water and creates a sort of cloud around the comet. This is why comets have tails. Even when they're not in the atmosphere, because they're sort of like, that is the trail of like the vapor coming out. And also that outgassing means that the comet is like, usually it gets like accelerated by the sun by like that kind of stuff shooting out like a little rocket.
Cool.
The thing though is that 3I Atlas definitely has a coma, and that is one of the things that like the way that Avi Loeb talked about or measured the 3I Atlas, assumed that it was like acting like it was an asteroid, but it's a comet. And because it had a cloud of gas and dust surrounding its core, that makes that changes its brightness, which means that its solid core is actually hidden behind the coma and is much smaller. So the size of the nucleus can't actually accurately be measured from reflected light because it's obscured by that coma. So the interpretation treats the coma's brightness as if it came from a solid nucleus, leading to an overestimation of its size. The hypothesis about particles ahead of the object acting like sensors is also criticized as being implausible, because particles with residual velocities would disperse and be ineffective without propulsion and guidance. So he was claiming there were some particles that were going out ahead that might have been sensors instead of gas and stuff getting out of the thing. Planetary scientists are familiar with how comet observations work because that's what they do. That's their job, including how to track them and eliminate smearing. So Loeb's questioning of coma images represents him misunderstanding basic astronomical methods.
But Tristan, he's a Harvard professor.
That is true.
How could he misunderstand something?
That is true. You're not wrong. He is a professor at Harvard.
He's a professor at Harvard who teaches at Harvard. He's a Harvard professor for Harvard.
Yeah. This essay was really fun to read because he called a lot of his arguments, quote, objectively wrong. And
hell yeah.
Not knowing.
I love that because science is one of the only places you can do that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. When I watch like a movie review and someone is like, this is objectively wrong, I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But science, when someone is like, this is objectively wrong, I'm like, all right, spit. This is cool. Hell yeah, dude.
Basically, Jason Wright's takedown comes to the conclusion like, Loeb, to make his case for it being an artificial construction, made some major scientific errors, some that are like, if you are a person who studies comets, would be like, pedestrian, like base level shit.
Yeah.
And so this is somebody who's supposed to be,
like me.
This is a person who's supposed to know a lot about space stuff and didn't oversee this like extremely basic problem.
Doesn't look good for the Harvard man at Harvard.
Yeah, and compared to Loeb's talk about Oumuamua, he uses a very similar hedging language, and also and did something that I think is the important part that I'll get into in a little bit, which is that he uses a very specific thing to hack the media cycle. Because when Oumuamua was going through the solar system, lots of journalists were having him on the news to talk about what Oumuamua was, and maybe it was a solar sail. And now with 3i Atlas, he's showing up on the news talking about whether or not it's a spaceship. And
his
so
name out there.
he has a very specific
maybe another
grift.
book deal or something.
Yeah, he has a grift, and it's very specific. So the thing, though, is that scientists, compared to with Oumuamua, they were kind of like whatever about him being wrong. But now they're actually showing express frustration. Not only because this is like a very significant discovery, 3i Atlas, but also that, we seem to have a lot less patience for pseudoscience and bad, bad analyses being done through the guise of science than we did maybe 8 years ago when Oumuamua was happening.
That's a good thing though, right?
Here's the thing. There's also a time aspect to it. So they're talking about how this is actually distracting from the work of other scientists. And there needs to be a lot of stuff done in a very short amount of time. So it's not cute. And this time it's actively harmful because the perihelion, like basically like the last like window that we have where we can study 3i Atlas is happening on October 30th. So we only have a little bit of time to study it before it kind of goes away. And right now, this like extremely critical time where researchers need to be scrambling is being buried under, is it a spaceship though?
Oh, fuck. And so many people are going to be preparing for a Halloween party too.
Yeah, I'll be in Mexico, but Day of the Dead party.
Nice.
But here's the thing. Here's the reason why that's like super, super fucking important. Because 3i Atlas is a very unique opportunity to learn a whole lot about the universe, how it was formed, what things look like in other parts of the galaxy, and might completely change our idea of the universe. Because so first things first, 3i Atlas is the fastest comet ever recorded.
Hell yeah.
It's currently traveling. This is how we actually know it's interstellar, because interstellar objects are usually, they blast through the solar system at a very, very fast speed, which shows that they're probably not caught in the gravity well of the sun or anything like that. So 3i Atlas is going through our solar system at a 61 kilometers per second.
So a little quick.
I gotta translate it into America.
Can you convert that for me, please? Can you make it easy with numbers that I know with my American brain, please?
It's moving at a speed of 38 miles per second.
All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty quick.
Pretty fucking fast.
Pretty freaking fast.
In fact, it's not only the fastest comet, it is the fastest object ever tracked in our solar system. So
cool.
And we're getting a lot of really interesting, rare data about it. So, like, this is why the window is so short, is because it's blasting through our solar system so fucking fast.
It's going quick. It's not slowing down.
Yeah.
It's got places to be.
And it is, the speed, though, also suggests another thing, which is that it's not only not from our solar system, but it's probably not bound to any solar system and has been traveling across the galaxy for a very, very long time. And when I mean a long time, I mean
Tell me.
a really long time.
Oh, give me a number, baby.
So this is the craziest thing about 3i Atlas, about the studies of it that we have estimated so far. The highest, the oldest age of this comet is upwards of 14 billion years old.
With a B?
Yes. What this suggests.
Incredible.
So just to give you kind of perspective, our sun, the solar system, the one we live on.
Oh, that's fanfic, right? Our sun, you and me, son.
Oh my goodness.
We have a son together. That's fanfic for everyone.
You're just inviting fan art, and I don't know if it's fan art you want.
No.
But
our SUN son.
Yeah. Our sun, the one in space.
The one in space.
Started fusing 4.6 billion years ago. So that's the age of our solar system.
So this is older than our solar system.
By like 10 billion years.
Yeah. Like 3 times over.
Yeah.
It's older. And it is... I mean, this thing's just cruising through. This thing has places to be. This thing is like... It like sees our solar system and is like, oh, cute. Oh, cute. A little one. A young
baby
thing.
boy. Because we are a relatively young solar system in respect. Like, this is actually like one of the interesting things about SETI, like the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, is that we're actually, one of the places that we're thinking of looking are other stars, because our star is pretty young and will burn out pretty fast. But there are other stars that are like cooler and they're more red, that they will keep burning for way like orders of magnitude longer than our sun. So it's like they're kind of like more of a low and slow, right?
Right.
Which means that but the thing is that that's a lot more time of like steady energy output that like life could more likely, and intelligence could more likely evolve because they have just way more evolutionary time to exist.
Yeah.
But there'd be some crazy stuff like the plants would be black because in order to absorb light from a red sun, it would need to be black and like
absorb the most possible.
Yeah. I'm kind of idling because I'm waiting for a Superman joke of some kind. But
no, we have a different property onto this episode.
Oh yeah, this is Marvel. You can't do Marvel and DC in the same episode.
I can't do Marvel and DC at the same time. Tristan, do you know how hard it was for me to not hit our Christopher Nolan button when you the amount of times you said Interstellar in this episode? We have one bit we're doing, and it's Professor X, and I'm not gonna cross the streams.
Interstellar.
You're gonna make me do it.
Oh, Christopher Nolan, welcome to the show. Everybody, recurring guest on the podcast, Christopher Nolan, who talks about his movies and everything like that.
Yeah. You got any new while we're at it, got any thoughts on new Batman movies? Christopher Nolan, you did some Batman movies. We're going to talk about DC. You ever think about doing a Superman movie, Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, you're right.
Darn.
He's doing a pretty good job right now, so.
He's doing good right now. Maybe the world doesn't need another dark and gritty Superman. You're right.
Could have used fewer slurs though in your response, but
yeah, seriously, we're gonna have to bleep so much of this out, dude. Unbelievable.
Anyways, sorry, it's Christopher Nolan. He comes into the studio sometimes. It's
all right. I feel like he comes in drunk a lot. Is that just me? Like he just sort of stumbles in drunk. And we don't look, Tristan, I don't like asking Christopher Nolan these questions. I don't like being like, oh, Superman, Batman, Interstellar. Because like he's got places to be, but he comes in here drunk and just starts
interrupts our podcast and just starts
He interrupts our podcast. Chris! Dude! Get out. Oh, my wife's gonna check on me now.
Bad Christopher Nolan. Bad.
Christopher Nolan.
We're gonna get like a spray bottle to every time he comes in and make him go away.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so the thing though is that if 3i Atlas is near the higher end, like I think the minimum is like 7 billion years, which would still have it pre-age our solar system. But if it is near its older age, that actually has this rock, like, this comet forming soon after the Big Bang. So like it's almost as old as the fucking universe.
This thing?
It's almost as old as when it was possible for rocks to be.
Yeah, this thing is kind of cool, actually. You're selling me on it more.
Yeah, the universe is 13.8 billion years old, according to estimates. It could be older, but like, so you can see it's like it could be like,
Okay, so if this thing is like 14 billion
there's some
old.
variance in like, the age of the universe, different things. So
No, Tristan, don't tell me that. Tell me that this thing is from a different universe
it's older than the
entirely.
universe.
It's older than this big rock. I say little, it's not little. This big fast rock is the oldest, coolest, fastest thing in our universe.
It is definitely the oldest, coolest, fastest thing that we have ever fucking seen in our solar system. That is unmistakable. So that's huge. The other thing too is that its orbital characteristics suggest that it's from this part of our galaxy called the thick disk, thick with two C's.
Hell yeah.
Which is a part of the galaxy that has a bunch of ancient stars that have very odd chemistry from our research. And we get a bunch of clues because a chunk of it is passing through our solar system.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And also by looking at what it's made up of, we see signs of high carbon dioxide, but also lots of weird diverse gases, which help us compare like our ideas about like how other stars formed compared to the solar system, because different solar systems have different levels of different elements that they formed around, and so we are seeing like something that is actually from another solar system that is not Sol, which means that it has whole different types of chemistry going on.
Yeah.
And usually the best we can ever do with that is like with Kepler, like the exoplanet research stuff. But having it actually pass through our solar system is a very rare treat indeed.
I know. It makes me sad because, we're never going to see this thing again.
No, it's getting the fuck out of here real fast.
It does. It's not like it has an orbit or like around our.
Yeah.
It's going way too fast. We're never going to see it again. Darn.
Its orbit just shows it coming in, seeing Earth, and then just doing a fucking 90-degree thing away.
It's like, oh, actually, yikes.
Yeah. The other thing too is because it's basically been going through space for billions and billions, like pretty much like as long as space has existed almost.
Yeah.
And hasn't really had.
Some would say longer. Some would say longer, actually. Some would say it's older.
Some would say. But like, okay, so but the thing is that it probably hasn't passed through other stars because that would just be, the chances of it would be so crazy.
Yeah.
Which means that this thing is made up of pristine, untouched material from that time. So it hasn't been heated up. It hasn't had collisions. So we see a like almost like a little untouched piece of what the early universe looked like. An absolutely unprecedented discovery, and something that we have never seen before. We might not ever see again, and is like incredibly scientifically precious, right?
Let's go touch it.
It sucks that we can't go touch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, its ancient origin and those preserved chemicals allow for us to study how galaxies and how planets form, and just like having like a rock or having material from a time when galaxies as a concept were still happening, like we're still very young. When the first galaxies were forming, this rock existed. And it has already we're learning that 3i Atlas complements many of our current models about how stars and planets form that span billions of years. Like basically the idea that it might be like a slower process than we thought, and that it connects a lot of like cosmic evolution with local planetary science. So we are already learning a whole lot from it just from its brief interaction with us. And given that it's exceeding 7 billion years old, it could have traversed the galaxy during and before transversed it before our solar system's formation. So we are literally watching, like, if it's from like our kind of cosmic neighborhood, we're kind of like seeing what things looked like when the time before our star even formed.
Yeah, this is universe placenta.
Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah. So this is so now I know you got a button for it. I think it's time that I talk to you about why this is.
Don't make me do this.
Yeah.
No, Tristan. All right. Hit me with it.
I want to talk about Avi Loeb's grift here.
Do it.
So what I would call like what Loeb does is he really fucking latches on to the fact that he's a Harvard professor.
What?
So he's a Harvard professor. Like he's not even like, I don't even know if he's like a bad.
I didn't know that about. He teaches at Harvard.
Yeah,
That's cool.
He brings it
I
up
didn't know that
constantly, and every article that interviews him talks about Harvard professor thinks that this is an alien. That is like such a tagline that journalists fucking love like candy. So because he has this wonderful grift that is a really easy way to get him a lot of prestige and a lot of attention, which is that he has the Harvard name after it. He has the sort of fact that he's like, an astronomer, that he can go into, like when a journalist is trying to believe or try to make a case for aliens, they can find somebody who's got the credentials to be believable and agrees with what they want to say. So they drag him in, and he gets to write these like kind of like these articles that then, like, this is the big part, is that what he'll do is something big will happen, like Oumuamua, like 3i Atlas. He'll then go write an ArcSiv article, which doesn't need to be peer reviewed, where he will do a kind of pedagogical thought experiment about like, maybe this is like, look at all these anomalies. Maybe it's technology. Maybe we shouldn't dismiss that. He puts it up. It goes into this public repository. Avi Loeb then is like a Harvard professor who is writing this thing, maybe being aliens. Then the press picks it up. A whole cycle happens while like, because he'll attach it to like a current buzzy space news thing, like Oumuamua, for example. And then he'll get a whole bunch of press about his alien claims, which gets him a bunch of attention, gets him a bunch of stuff. And then he, in doing so, he gets more attention, and he, in my mind, continues to poison the discourse. And this is, we've seen this before on Ancient Aliens, and we've seen it in a lot of other areas. Like, for example, remember the Ezekiel wheel, and how it was like a NASA engineer believed that the Ezekiel was a UFO, and he made a wheel based off of it. That is another case of them doing this exact thing. But like, we have seen this in like, say at one point, the entire vaccine hesitancy movement was started off of a fucking doctor who was trying to make money because he like had connections with like a firm to connect vaccines and autism. Now he has since had his like, doctor's license taken away. Mr. Wakefield, I don't remember what his first name is, but
Andrew Wakefield.
Andrew Wakefield, yeah. But then the anti-vaccine people could go like, look, we have a doctor who is saying that this connection's happened. That one was even worse because he actually somehow got that through peer review. They had to redact it. So that was a real big drop ball there. But this is the kind of stuff like how oil funded, like the other example that always comes up is there's a guy who used to be in Greenpeace for a long time. I think he like was even the head of Greenpeace for a long time. And now he gets paid by a bunch of oil companies to talk about how climate change isn't a big deal. So it's a really easy way to undermine the consensus around a scientific topic. Now, this one's about space, but there are some other much more high stakes things that this same tactic's being used in. And the people do it because this makes them money, this gets them attention, this like builds, this builds what they're doing. And it makes people do a sort of logical fallacy of the idea that having credentials can be used in place of evidence. So even if somebody is a Harvard professor, if they show up and don't have any evidence, or their evidence is bad, that doesn't give their position any credibility.
Doesn't mean anything.
And so we have to be even more careful, because even people who have fancy titles and a bunch of credibility will still do shit because we live under capitalism and the attention economy and all that kind of crap.
Right. It's not about, like what one person of authority says. It's about what the whole field of evidence says, in that, peer reviewed, all these other people in the same field. Yeah.
And there's one other thing, and I think that this is probably like the thing that makes me the most angry about what Avi Loeb's doing. And I feel like this is the thing that like we talk about a lot on this show, and this is almost like what the show is built around, that I really wanted to bring up, which is that we live in a highly attention seeking place where like big flashy stories are what goes in. And there is a definite, what I think this does is it's very toxic for the scientific field when it comes to expectation setting. Because I just told you about 3i Atlas and how it is like one of the possibly like unique periods in like human history that we'll be able to see something like this and get these kind of insights. It is one of the biggest deals that has ever happened in the history of space to humans.
And again, I can't stress enough, we're never going to see this thing again.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad, actually.
But what happens is fucking Avi here steps in, says aliens, and that it's an alien spaceship. And all of a sudden, the most important like comet discovery of the like fucking, millennium.
The universe placenta
is now kind of considered boring because it's not aliens.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in our media environment, aliens beats definitely
placenta.
Something cool.
Yeah.
And our society loses the ability to distinguish between legitimate scientific debate and credentialed grifters. Like grifters with PhDs, basically.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it that I feel like we've loosely touched on before, but I think you've really nailed it. Maybe aliens is always going to be something legitimately interesting.
Maybe aliens is going to be more buzzy and get more social media attention than definitely like big scientific
definitely
discovery.
Interesting and important.
Yeah.
Yeah, like interesting and important to study is not as buzzy as maybe aliens.
Yeah, and it's super fucking disappointing because if you go on TikTok, and I guess I feel like I'm training the algorithm to give me this bullshit, but like conspiracy theory TikTok people are talking about like literally going on about how like we're gonna like literally like a month and a half ago, I heard people saying that about 3i Atlas was like, are we gonna be invaded by UFOs in 2 weeks? And like almost like basically like it's almost taken for granted that 3i Atlas on TikTok is a spaceship.
Yeah.
And
Man,
and
if the Rapture people waited a little bit longer, it could have synced up pretty interestingly.
I think that something like that happened in 1998 with Heaven's Gate, and it did not end well.
Oh, never mind.
But so what I would say is if you so this is my optimistic what do kind of thing.
Oh, we've got the music.
We got a thing for it?
Remember? Yeah.
Hope. Keep hope alive.
Tristan, I need you to hope again. I need you to hope.
Oh my God.
Again.
So here's the thing you should look at. If somebody is basing a press release on ArcSiv, huge fucking red flag. ArcSiv is very important for scientists to communicate with each other and exchange ideas, but it is very troublesome when you lean like an entire press story on it.
Right.
You also need to look for when like he writes things like this, look for hedging language because a lot of the things he did, like saying pedagogical exercise might have been this thing. We think it's natural, but I'm just asking questions. All of this is used so that Loeb can have plausible deniability while still just putting enough of the cheese out so that the journalists bite and like get him all the attention he wants, which is what he's going after.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So instead of like asking when one scientist writes a paper, is this significant? Look at what the scientific consensus is. Look what multiple scientific teams are saying, because the scientific consensus on a topic has a much higher chance of being right than one dude, even a dude who is a Harvard professor.
Yes.
And honestly, like anytime there's like the sole maverick scientist fighting against the scientific institution, that the scientific institution is almost always right.
Right. It is quite literally the joke that we do on this show.
Yeah.
Which is mainstream scholars believe this, but some people think.
But this guy we found who has a radio show.
But this one guy who agreed to be on our show says otherwise.
So all this is to say is that if you saw these stories and your bullshit detector took off, just know that your detector is perfectly calibrated and that
You did great.
Your frustration is definitely well placed. Real science is obviously cooler when you actually look into what it is. Like, I didn't know too much about what 3i Atlas ended up being, and I was like, holy shit, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. We've done 2 of, like, universe-breaking scientific discoveries in the last couple of weeks. And it's been pretty nice.
Yeah.
After this, we're doing a 2-parter on Göbekli Tepe, so have fun with that one, everybody. But I could not get through this episode without also shouting out Angela Collier's video on Avi Loeb. Angela Collier is a physics YouTuber, and she is amazing. Her videos are so good.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, she's been on the episode once. She did an episode with me on Planet 9, the search for Planet 9. It was really fun. But she has a really great video about the sort of Avi Loeb grift. And I would say that it is, if you want to get a much more scripted, in-depth discussion about this, but obviously this was before 3i Atlas, so it's mostly about Oumuamua and other things. But her video is great, and I will put it in the show notes, and I would definitely recommend it. What I really would suggest is that you go to...
Tristan, it's me.
Yeah.
One last time in this episode.
What's the rule of 3s again?
I just wanted to say, we break that rule all the time. Or you and your host do. I'm not usually here. But Tristan, I just wanted to say, maybe you're right. Maybe this isn't an alien threat like I was persuaded to believe by a Harvard professor from Harvard. I may not know a lot about
don't you know a lot?
3i Atlas. No, I don't know a lot about 3i Atlas specifically. You got to let me finish. But I do know a one-eye Cyclops who was my star pupil. And maybe, just maybe, the real danger out there isn't this space object headed towards us to kill us all. Perhaps the only danger is in the danger room.
The only danger is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, also sorry about that Magneto stuff earlier. I don't know what was up with me. I was sort of having a weird week. It's been a while since I've seen my space girlfriend, so I apologize for the weird energy.
That's okay. Would you like to tell everybody on the internet or the world with your psychic powers about how they can help promote and spread this message of the show?
Maybe, but I do think it might. I think the echo is probably a bit overwhelming to some people, so maybe we'll.
Why don't you possess Scott and then have do it through that?
Ooh, and I get to be as handsome as he is.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. Hello, it's me, regular Scott, not possessed at all. Great episode, Tristan, my co-host of this podcast that we do. And if you want to find more of our show, you can find more of us and things by searching at Probs Not Aliens on Blue Sky and other places, I'm sure. Tristan and Scott, Tristan and I, do different things outside of this podcast. Tristan, what is it that you do?
Well, I have a YouTube channel called Step Back, where I talk about history and its connection with modern day. And by the time this episode comes out, I should have a video on French Africa and why it's super duper important, but yet a lot of the West is not paying attention to what's going on there. Now, quote unquote, Scott, if I wanted to learn about how, quote unquote, not you got paralyzed, where would I go?
Oh, you could just ask me, I suppose. Or Scott, Scott, you could ask Scott. I'm sure Scott made a video about it on his YouTube channel. How quaint. What a human thing. YouTube. Ha! There are no mutant YouTubers, just FYI.
MTube.
Yeah, we've got our own. Everything is branded MTube or XTube. Not XTube. Actually, don't look up. Hold on, wait. Don't look up that one.
Magneto has MTube and Professor Xavier has XTube.
Don't look up that one. Don't look up that one. Scott has a YouTube channel called NerdSync, NERDSYNC. Go check it out. He makes video essays about comics and superheroes and cartoons and fun things like that. And not anything that's on XTube.
If you want to listen to next week's episode right now, you can go to nebula.tv/probablynotaliens if you sign up for Nebula, or if you're already signed up, you get next week's episode right now, plus a bonus Q&A episode at the end of the season. If you want to help with paying for editors and equipment and stuff, you can go to patreon.com/probsnotaliens and toss in a few bucks so we can keep the machine running. But honestly, if you don't have money, and honestly in this day and age, who does? The best way that you can help this show is by leaving reviews on your podcast app of choice, or just telling your friends about what we do.
Either in person or telepathically, like we all can do, like I can do, like other people can do, I'm sure. Tell your friends. Beam it into their brains. Just hook up Cerebro to an iPod and blast out episodes of this show. Tristan, you did cough, and then you are now very still, hunched over your desk. Did you die?
No, I'm going through the effects.
Okay. A great place to send people to this wonderful show is probsnotaliens.com. It's a website that has links to all of the things that Tristan and Scott, who is me, have referenced here in the outro. Well, until next time, my name is Professor Scott X Nice Zave Wander.
And I'm Tristan Johnson, and the truth is out there.
Probably.
Oh shit. The Sentinels! Tristan, the Sentinels are here!
Oh man, I don't think we're gonna get forgiven for this one.
I'm not sure. I know.
Fucking hell.
Professor X. Hey guys, is Professor X this is Scott back at the outro for this podcast. Is Professor X a good recurring bit that we should keep bringing back? Let me know.